So I just recorded a video. I intended to say about 5 things in that video. I spent about 18 minutes saying one of them. So I've revised my my task list and my speech plan so that I cover one point in each video and try and keep it to less than 18 minutes. Let's go with 5 minutes. Let's go for 5 minutes. I would like to speak about when I was talking to my partner about the experience that everybody has. Doesn't everybody have this experience? Turns out no. The experience that I'm very familiar with of getting so caught up in a conversation or an activity or a challenge or something exciting and going one step too far, and then it all comes crumbling down. Everybody else knew that thing that you did at the end was just pushing it too far, one step too far. You didn't know, I didn't know until afterwards. So the experience that happens after you fall from really, really high, or after you wake your host's baby because you just screamed so loud in enthusiasm, or after you have smacked someone in the face with a gum nut as hard as you possibly can, when you realise, that was one step too far, wasn't it? I've done it. That feeling of, I've done it again. And there's shame and embarrassment and like self-critical, all of that. It sets off that whole, anyway. I have a lot of memories of that sort of experience in my earlier life, even not so much earlier, maybe days ago probably was the last time it happened. Turns out that experience is very common to people with ADHD, and people without ADHD, the hyperactive type ADHD, don't have that happen so often in adulthood, at least. So I was telling my partner about this and saying, you know, that experience that you have in life when you feel blah, 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 and you go one step too far and like, he's like, no, I don't think I've experienced that. And I contemplated that. I had some realizations that no, not everybody experiences that. So I told him a couple of stories, and the most magical thing happened. I told him stories of memories that I have, which are scorched into my mind because there's so much shame and embarrassment around it. Well, there was, until I realised that they are a result of my ADHD brain and my lack of inhibition, my lack of ability, especially as a younger person, to regulate my excited big feelings and enthusiasm. It was kind of like this magical transformation happened. While I was telling him about these memories that are normally like, oh, I die in shame when I think about them, suddenly they were the funniest thing. I was like literally crying with laughter, telling him about the time that I point blank pegged a gum nut as hard as I possibly could into my friend's face. I didn't intend to get him in the face. I intended to prove my masculinity as a woman and throw it really, really far because I had been accused of throwing like a girl. So I thought, in the excitement of the moment, it was necessary for me to prove how far I actually could throw it and how hard I could throw it really quickly in response to his comment over his shoulder. And it didn't go over his shoulder, it went in his face. And it was very painful for him. And of course, I was all proud and was like, yeah, I did that on purpose. I meant to do that just to show you how hard I could throw. What an idiot. Anyway, I was telling this story, and suddenly while I was telling it, because I have this overlay of understanding of an ADHD brain now and understanding how I work and understanding that I have some shortfalls in these areas because of ADHD. It was suddenly, I was like crying with laughter telling him about this. It was the most wonderful transformation. And it's sort of like happened with all of those memories now. I look back and I just laugh at myself. Because I really have spent my life trying my absolute hardest to do the best I can in everything. Like in every interaction that I ever have with anyone, I am trying as hard as I possibly can to do the best I can in that interaction, to be the kindest, to be the most, to listen, the best listener, and to make sure that that person feels valued and knows that I really am listening and get them. And, everything that I do, I'm trying to do it to my absolute best. Like now, I'm trying my absolute best to remember where I was going with that story. No, I haven't got it. No, I will remember after I press stop, and that's okay. And then I'll write it down, and I'll make another little video about it. It's like throwing gumnut in the face story video part B. Let's talk about this another time. Anyway, I hope that somewhere in there you can all go, is that why Kristen does that? Or, I always thought Chris was a bit of a weirdo. That's why. And hopefully if you feel like a bit of a weirdo because you throw gum nuts in people's faces too, then now you feel like I'm not the only weirdo. And maybe I should just find other weirdos to hang out with, because to be honest, my partner's a bit of a weirdo. He knows it and he's super happy with it. And it's just amazing. Like spending time with somebody who understands the way you work and is totally comfortable with it, because they sort of somehow sometimes work the same way. It's so freeing and refreshing. Anyway, you get to hear more about Kyle later. I'm sure I gush about him all the time. Anyway, I hope you're having a lovely day. Bye.